Hello everyone, this is Earth Archives. We all know that humans have a short history in North America, but this also means that there are more creatures on this land. Today we will learn about 8 kinds of prehistoric creatures on this land. Before the show starts, please subscribe, share, and turn on the little bell. This will help us grow faster. Without further ado, the show begins. Imagine a world where beavers were as big as bears, sloths weighed a whopping 3,000 pounds, and camels strutted around at a majestic 7 feet tall. Sounds like something out of a fantasy movie, right? Well, hold on to your hats because this was the real deal Ice Age North America, folks. Back in the day, between 14,000 and 25,000 years ago, humans crossed over from Asia and stepped foot into a land teeming with colossal creatures. Stuart Fiedel, an archaeologist who's all about digging into the America's past, paints a wild picture. Think of North America back then like a zoo on steroids. We're talking mammoth-sized beavers, giant sloths that could probably bench press a car, and camels tall enough to give Shaq a run for his money. But here's the kicker, not long after humans showed up on the scene, these mega critters vanished into thin air. Poof, gone like yesterday's news. So, what gives? Well, the jury's still out on that one. Some folks reckon our ancient ancestors went on a hunting spree, wiping out these big boys faster than you can say, mammoth burger. Others think it was a combo of things, a sudden chill in the air, maybe a bout of ancient diseases caught from humans and their four-legged pals. 1. Giant short-faced bear. Picture this, you're strolling through ancient North America, minding your own business, when suddenly, you come face to face with the heavyweight champ of the carnivorous mammals, the giant short-faced bear. Cue dramatic music. This beast wasn't your average bear, oh no. We're talking about a real-life giant here, folks. Standing tall on its hind legs, this bad boy reached heights of over 14 feet. Yeah, you heard that right. And what really set it apart? Those legs. They were like tree trunks, all long, lean, and rippling with muscle. Now, you might be wondering, what's with the long legs? Well, according to Fiedel, that's what made this bear a real speed demon. They reckon this fella could sprint faster than your grandma on Black Friday, clocking in at a whopping 40 miles per hour. And get this, it wasn't just all brawn and no brains. With a schnoz like that, it could sniff out a meal from miles away, using its keen sense of smell to track down tasty treats. But here's the kicker, this mega bear isn't your average yogi. Nope, it's not related to any of the bears you see roaming around today. Its closest living cousin, the spectacled bear from way down in South America. Talk about a family reunion. 2. Saber-toothed tiger and scimitar cat. Alright, folks, let's talk about the og kings of the prehistoric jungle, saber-toothed tigers. These bad boys weren't your average house cats, oh no. We're talking about some serious muscle here. First off, let's address the elephant in the room, their teeth. These sabers weren't just for show. We're talking about canines that could put a vampire to shame, measuring a whopping 7 inches long. And get this, their jaws could open wider than your grandma's purse on Black Friday, up to a mind-blowing 130 degrees. Now, don't let their name fool you. Saber-toothed tigers weren't related to your modern-day tabby. Nope, they were in a league of their own. Standing a foot shorter than your average lion, but packing on the pounds like it's nobody's business, some of these cats tipped the scales at over 600 pounds. And with short legs and a stubby tail, they were built like mini-tanks, ready to pounce at a moment's notice. But wait, there's more. These ferocious felines weren't the only ones prowling around during the Ice Age. Enter the scimitar cat, another heavyweight contender in the prehistoric arena. Armed with 4-inch canines, this bad boy was more like your modern African lion, with long legs built for chasing down mammoths like it's no big deal. 3. Dire wolf. Alright, gather round, folks, cause we're diving deep into the world of dire wolves. Now, these guys may sound like something straight out of your nightmares, but trust me, there's more to them than meets the eye. First off, let's talk about their name, dire wolf. Yeah, it sounds pretty intense, right? Well, that's because it is. Terrible wolf is what it translates to in Latin, and let's just say they lived up to the hype. But here's the kicker, they weren't your run-of-the-mill wolves. Nope, DNA analysis has shown that these bad boys were more like the Hulk version of coyotes. Yeah, you heard me right, super-sized and ferocious coyotes on steroids. Now, these guys weren't picky about where they hung out. From the icy tundras up north all the way down to the sweltering jungles of Mexico, dire wolves were the ultimate survivors. And when it came to chow time, they weren't messing around. Picture this: packs of 30 or more, taking down mammoths, giant sloths, and even Ice Age horses. Talk about a feast fit for kings. 4. Mammoth and mastodon. Now, when we say these mammoths were massive, we mean massive. Picture this: towering at a whopping 12 feet tall and weighing in at a staggering 6 to 8 tons, these behemoths ruled the icy plains of North America during the Ice Age. And let's not forget those iconic curved tusks, stretching out a jaw-dropping 15 feet. Talk about some serious bling. But here's where it gets wild: mammoths weren't the only giants stomping around back then. Nope, there were actually 4 distinct species of these elephant-like creatures roaming the land. First up, we've got the American mastodon, the og of North American elephants. These bad boys crossed over from Asia a cool 15 million years ago, evolving into the American mastodon around 3.5 million years back. They were a bit shorter and stockier than their mammoth cousins, with teeth designed for ripping off leaves and whole tree branches. They were like the lumberjacks of the Ice Age. Now, onto the mammoths. These guys came strutting into North America in style, not once, but twice. First, we had the Mammuthus meridionalis, making the journey around 1.5 million years ago. From there, they branched out into 2 distinct species: the Columbian mammoth, known for its relatively smooth skin, and the Jeffersonian mammoth, named after none other than Thomas Jefferson himself. Now, you might think these colossal creatures met their end a long time ago, but think again. Archaeologists have dug up evidence showing that pockets of mammoths were still roaming the Arctic islands a mere 4,500 years ago. Yep, that's right, mammoths were chilling out up north while the Egyptians were busy building pyramids. Talk about living life to the fullest. 5. Giant ground sloths. Folks, get ready to have your minds blown because we're diving into the world of Ice Age sloths, and trust me, these guys were anything but your average tree-hugging, slow-moving critters you see today. Picture this: sloths the size of bears, standing a whopping 12 feet tall on their hind legs and tipping the scales at a mind-boggling 3,000 pounds. Yep, we're talking mega sloths here, folks. One of the big shots in the sloth world was none other than the Jefferson ground sloth, named after none other than Thomas Jefferson himself. Now, old TJ initially thought these sloth fossils belonged to some kind of colossal cat and gave them the epic name Megalonyx, which translates to giant claw. Talk about a case of mistaken identity. Now, just like their modern counterparts, these mammoth sloths weren't exactly speed demons. Picture a slow, lumbering stroll, with some of these guys shuffling around on the curled-up ankles of their hind legs. And let's not forget those signature elongated claws, perfect for stripping leaves and digging up roots like a boss. But here's where it gets even crazier: DNA analysis shows that these giant ground sloths didn't start their journey in North America. Nope, they actually originated in South America and hitched a ride north alongside some ancient opossums and armadillos. Yep, they were the ultimate road trippers of the animal kingdom. 6. Camelops. Now, when we think of camels, we usually picture those majestic creatures cruising through the sands of the Sahara or the Gobi Desert. But did you know that the very first camels actually strutted their stuff right here in North America, way back around 44 million years ago? Yep, you heard that right, North America was the original camel hotspot. These ancient camels weren't your run-of-the-mill dromedaries or Bactrians, though. Nope, they were the Og camels, blazing the trail for their descendants to become the humptastic wonders we know today. Fast forward a few million years, and these North American pioneers made their way over the Bering Land Bridge, heading west to become the camels of North Africa and Asia. Talk about a globe-trotting adventure. But wait, it gets even cooler. Some of these ancient North American camels didn't stop at just one continent hop. Oh no, they kept on trucking south until they hit the jackpot, South America. And that's where things get llama-licious, my friends. Yep, those adorable llamas and alpacas. They're distant relatives of those badass North American camels. Now, let's talk about one of the big shots of the Ice Age camel scene, the Camelops, aka yesterday's camel. Picture this: a towering, 2-toed behemoth standing a whopping 7 feet tall at the shoulders and tipping the scales at a hefty 1,800 pounds. And get this, they didn't even have a hump. But don't let that fool you. These guys were built for the long haul, with legs for days and the stamina to trek across the wild frontier. 7. Giant beaver. Picture this, a rodent the size of a grizzly bear, with teeth as long as bananas. Yep, you heard that right, this ain't your grandma's beaver we're talking about. The giant beaver of Ice Age North America was an absolute unit, measuring up to a whopping 7 feet long and tipping the scales at over 250 pounds. And those front teeth, well, let's just say you wouldn't want to get on the bad side. Now, you might be thinking, but hey, isn't a beaver just a beaver? Well, not quite. While the giant beaver might look similar to its modern-day cousin, with those trademark oversized incisors and a flat tail, it's actually more closely related to the capybara, the giant rodent of South America. Yeah, mind blown, right? Here's the kicker, though. Despite those massive teeth, the giant beaver wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. Its incisors and molars were rounded and blunt, lacking the finesse to take down big trees like your typical beaver. And get this, its brain was as smooth as a baby's bottom, which is a fancy way of saying it wasn't exactly a genius when it came to building dams. So, what were these giant toothy critters up to? Well, that's still a bit of a mystery. Some experts think they might have been munching on bark or tree pith, but as for building dams, yeah, nobody's found a giant beaver dam yet. But hey, who needs dams when you've got teeth the size of bananas, am I right? 8. American zebra. Alright, buckle up, folks, because we're about to take a ride through the wild history of horses in North America, a tale that's been rewritten by none other than archaeological evidence. Now, for the longest time, we thought horses trotted onto the North American scene thanks to those Spanish settlers way back in the 16th century. But hold your horses, because it turns out, these majestic creatures have been roaming the land for a mind-boggling 55 million years before that, hanging out with the mammoths and saber-toothed tigers during the Ice Age. Meet the og horse of North America, the American zebra, also known as the Hagerman horse. This bad boy is like the great-great-granddaddy of all modern horses, both wild and domesticated. Standing tall at around 5 feet at the shoulders, the American zebra had a sturdy build and some faint stripes to add a little flair to its look. Now, here's where it gets wild. Around 2 to 3 million years ago, these American horses packed their bags and hoofed it westward over the land bridge into Asia, eventually making their way to Africa. Yep, you heard that right, North American horses went globetrotting long before Instagram influencers made it cool. And get this, those ancient adventurers are the great-great-great-great-great-granddaddies of the very horses that the Spanish reintroduced to North America some 500 years ago. Talk about coming full circle, huh? What do you think about this story? Please leave your comments. See you in the next episode.